When it comes to Marvel Comics, there is definitely no shortage of secret or public, government-funded, or partners with the government agencies that work in all corners of the Marvel Universe. In the MCU, first came S.H.I.E.L.D., and that quickly saw its downfall in Captain America the Winter Soldier. Then we had a quick stay with AIM, but the most prominent one, and the one that will be here for the future, is of course S.W.O.R.D. So let's talk about the differences between these according to the director of WandaVision. Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. finally wrapped up in mid-2020. With that series wrapping up the old age of Marvel Entertainment controlling Marvel TV, Marvel Studios was set to pick up everything that Marvel TV was trying to get their hands on, including S.W.O.R.D. We know that as far back as 2014, ABC and Marvel TV under Ike Perlmutter and Jeff Loeb were in fact trying to get a hold of S.W.O.R.D., but Kevin Feige more or less kept it out of their reach, because he had plans down the road that were going to take a little bit of time to get off the ground. Now, at face value, I could see how many people thought that these two organizations were the same or are the same. You have S.W.O.R.D., hey, government up, they work for the government, they deal with top secret things. What does S.W.O.R.D. do? They work for the government. They deal with top secret things. Okay, at face value, there's your similarity and sort of, yeah, you know, they got the acronym and everything, so everything sort of fits. But the deeper you go into both of them in the comics and in live action so far, you see the differences quite clearly. So with WandaVision introducing us to the concept of how S.W.O.R.D. is different now, what they deal with, their role as part of the MCU, the director of WandaVision, Matt Shankman, recently talked about making S.W.O.R.D. a huge part of the MCU starting with WandaVision and then going forward. And what he revealed was right now was the perfect time to bring in a organization and an agency like S.W.O.R.D. because it's the aftermath of what happened with the big Avengers movies. Everybody is scrambling to try to figure out what the next step is. How do we introduce the world to these new ideas, new organizations? Are they working for the good, for the bad? Is there something more sinister happening? And since S.H.I.E.L.D. is no longer around, they're a remnant of the old world and the old time, S.W.O.R.D. steps in, and we see one of their pop-up bases that was in WandaVision, and he describes it exactly as that, a pop-up version of S.W.O.R.D., even though S.W.O.R.D. is much bigger at a global scale. And then he says, just because S.W.O.R.D. exists doesn't mean S.H.I.E.L.D. can't make a comeback or somewhere down the road appear again, but for right now, S.W.O.R.D. is the main focus, and we're gonna see what this means for the future and how the S.W.O.R.D. involve itself with many things. And I think once you see the ending of WandaVision, you sort of get the idea of where it's going, specifically with the mid-credit scene, because they're going to be a huge factor in the upcoming Secret Invasion.